Hello. So now class has officially started. Ken says I don't sound like I have a cold, but I do. So thanks, Ken. And so today I want to focus on school. Actually, school is ending, so it's kind of a strange time to focus on school subjects and topics and things. But yeah, I mean, there's two presentations that I can do today. One is about the school subjects, which I think is more basic. And then we have the school supplies and things like that. So let's talk about school a little bit first. Rafa, when was the last time you were at school? How many years ago?
You consider school as a regular school or some just
University classes, anything. If you've done any kind of courses.
Because I'm always performing trainings and small courses, but not regular classes as university and.
Well, that's okay. So what kind of courses do you do for work, obviously?
Yes, they're normally trainings related to my job, and
okay.
I'm also having classes cycling classes, I think.
Cycling?
Yes.
Like on a bike?
No, recycling training.
Ah, recycling. Okay, I missed part of that word. Okay, good. Oh, did you see the fly that just passed by? We have a lot of flies in the house too. Everyone does at this time of the year. Sorry. So if you see any other flies pass by. So good, recycling. That's perfect. So what do you do at these courses? You go, you sit down, and what kind of objects do you have in the room to help you learn?
Well, there's the board and the teacher, and there's also
teacher probably helps.
Yes, it brings a lot of topics of discussion. It doesn't not only stick with the subject, but also open room for discussion, because normally students are from different backgrounds and they have different experience. So
are these courses in English or in Portuguese?
It's normally in Portuguese.
Okay.
So it normally is a debate, because we are normally experienced students who take place in these classes, so they have a lot of experience to bring to the class. So, and it looks like more than a debate to the class instead of a small simple class, I think.
Okay. And do you think that way of teaching actually helps you, or would you prefer a more traditional way of teaching?
No, I don't think so, because the traditional way of teaching, I don't think it opens rooms for the knowledge and for the modern knowledge, I think, because things have changed nowadays, and I think that the work market has demanded us that we have a wider knowledge, and I don't think we'll be able to grasp all the knowledge just by simple classes, as if we have a teacher just speaking and students just listen to what he's about to say, because normally the classes are boring, and I don't think this helps the learning process nowadays.
Okay, perfect. So today, when we look at vocabulary with the schools and the school subjects, what you're saying is that everyone should think of examples, right? And that way they can learn those easier instead of me just telling you what the word is.
Okay.
We'll work on that later, don't worry. But Ken, thank you, Rafa. Ken, what about you? What about school? Have you done any courses, or when was the last time you were at school?
Same as Rafa.
Okay. Yeah. So what kind of training things do you do?
Raphael, yes, and sometimes kind of courses related to American literature, also some debate. And the style of the class, usually in the grad school class is small course and make a presentation in turn. This that person, next week that person, and they research something, and we discuss about that research after that. That style of the class is common.
Perfect.
So object in the class, nowadays, kind of slide and PowerPoint presentation is it's somewhat common. Some people still, don't use that, but some people use that.
Okay, perfect. Well, good. So what I just wanted to do today is, again, it's a very basic class. It's a lower level class today. It's just little by little things. So we're going to take a look at some, let's see, classroom items. All right, 1 second. Perfect. Okay, so you should be able to see these. And again, I know this is basic vocabulary, but we can do some fun things with this. Okay, so says here are some items you might find in a classroom. In my classroom there is, and you can see 2 different items here, right? Can you see the bottom one?
Yes.
Okay, so what do we have here?
A pen and pencil.
A pen and pencil. Okay, and so what are the differences between pens and pencils?
Usually pen is not erasable, but pen is erasable. No. Pencil is erasable.
Okay, well, there's something called an erasable pen. Erasable pen. That's something that you can erase?
Yes. Erasable, yes.
All right, what are some similarities between a pen and a pencil?
Long object.
Okay. Good. That's one thing. What's their function?
For writing.
Exactly. Okay, so that's a similarity. In my mind, the most common similarity is that they are used for writing. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? What does a pen use to write?
Ink.
Ink. Very good. How do you spell the word ink?
I-N-K.
I-N-K. Very good. And what does a pencil use?
Graffiti.
Not in English. Graffiti is what you find on the walls of a city. That's graffiti. Oops, graffiti. Okay. Graphite in English. Graphite. Or we also can call it lead, I think. Lead. Graphite. Anyway, yes. So perfect. Any other questions? I mean, this is the basic, like I said, it's a basic kind of idea for vocabulary, but there's a lot of other things that we can do. We can compare similarities and differences. We did some spelling, and different adjectives. Ken, you said they're long. All right. So I like this. Next, on slide 2, we have a book and a computer. What can we describe a book and a computer?
Book is made of paper, traditionally, and it has.
Okay, good. And a computer?
Computer is made of maybe it's iron and metal and plastic, or kind of electric thing, gadget.
Okay, yes, that's correct. All right, that's fine. Any other, I mean, there's a lot more differences, right, than similarities. Right?
Yes, I think computer is used for many purposes, but a book is used or more, maybe one purpose to read.
Okay, that's true. So what are some of the differences here of the use of these? I mean, books we learn to read, but what can we read in books?
Many things.
Okay, for example?
For example, novel, stories.
Novels, good stories, yeah.
Documentary.
Documentaries, sure, yeah. What is it? Autobiographies, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, that's good. Anything else? No? Computers, what can we do with computers?
Attending online class.
Okay, only for classes? You can only use computers for classes?
No, I use a computer in a lot of different ways. Social media and, a lot.
Yep, that's true. All right, but you can also learn on computers, right? You said because there's classes, obviously, but not just classes, but you could learn or you could watch documentaries, for example.
Right.
Right? Or you could watch movies. You could learn about novels. You could read maybe a description about novels. So they're both used for learning, right? Is that something you think we could say?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? Or are we kind of finished? Let's move on. So if we go down here, a piece of paper and a notebook. All right. So what's going on with these? What are these made of?
Paper.
Okay. Well, they're made of paper, but where does paper come from?
From Amazon or woods.
From the Amazon or the woods. Yes. I was a little confused. I'm waiting for an Amazon package today. Okay.
Not.com.
Like from that. No, Amazon. Okay. No, from the Amazon. Yes, from forests. Okay, yes. From the woods. All right, that's fine. Okay, so trees, right? Come from trees. All right, good. And what does a piece of paper do? What does a piece of paper do?
Mainly for writing, drawing.
Okay, sure, that's good. Anything else? I mean, I'm focusing on a piece of paper now just because in a notebook we have many pieces of paper, right?
Right.
So anything that we can use a piece of paper for, we can also use a notebook. But what could be the difference between a piece of paper and a notebook?
Maybe piece of paper is used for this kind of notification, but a notebook maybe some people use for writing something to record.
Okay, good. Yeah, to record something, that's fine. All right, good. Rafa, any suggestions here? I mean, are there any differences? Well, there's one main difference between a piece of paper and a notebook is that one piece of paper is one and a notebook has many. But can you think of any other things?
We normally use a piece of paper just for taking small notes or something to remember at a daily basis. On the other hand, you use a notebook for, I don't know, maybe something more formal, maybe taking some notes in a more permanent setting. I think we can use them. You can use it to writing telephone numbers or maybe recipes or although we can also use a piece of paper to write a recipe, but There are many varied purposes of using a notebook and as well as a piece of paper. It depends on the usage. I have a quick question. How can we define this iron structure that we use to hold the notebooks attached?
This is called to bind.
To bind.
Well, to bind is, hold on. These are called, what are these called? Clips? No. Open, these specifically, I can't remember, but when it's a book, it's called the binding of the book. It's to bind is the verb.
Okay.
I can't remember what these are called. And I don't even know in Spanish. Oh. Well, that's frustrating. Binder? This is maybe called a binder, actually. That's what I would say is... Let me look that up. A binder. Oh, this is so complicated. Let's see, images.
No, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, and thank you for the question. All right, good. 3-ring binders. That's what it's called. For example, it's a 3 or 4-ring binder. So it's just called a ring, basically, these clips, rings. Okay? All right, good. Okay. No more challenging questions. Well, let's move on to the next one. A highlighter and a key, well, highlighters, because there's more than one in the picture, and a keyboard. What's going on with this? Are there any similarities that you can see between these two?
Maybe one similarity is for, we can type write by keyboard, and we can type, we can write, maybe usually draw the underline or something by highlight.
Okay, that's what I would say is the common theme here is that they're both for maybe writing.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? Or what about differences?
Highlighter is used for one purpose, and typing, but typing itself used for, but nowadays, usually type is connected to the computer, so can be used in different purposes.
That's true.
Like playing game.
Exactly. And highlighters, are basically used to highlight things, to make them more noticeable, or something like that. Anything else that we want to say here? No? Well?
From me?
All right, Rafa, any comments?
No further comments.
Okay. What about a key and a mouse? Key and a mouse. Differences?
Key is more traditional. Mouse is kind of modern thing.
Mouses? Do you say mouses or do you mean mice?
Mouse.
Okay, a mouse. Singular, right?
Yes. Computer mouse is. I think mouse is, and I kind of contract apostrophe s, but doesn't work. So mouse is, modern thing.
All right, perfect. What about anything else? Differences, similarities, more things?
I don't see similarities between a key and a mouse in any aspect, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I think there are a lot of differences. One is from metal and the other one is basically from plastic. as well as.
Okay.
Although, at least at some perspective, we can use both to open something.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of looking at. Yeah, there's always something common. Well, always. We can try and find something common with these. So open. So what can you open with a key and what can you open with a mouse?
Open windows.
Okay, anything else?
Maybe key is used for the open the, how can I say, actual object, but the mouse is used for open the kind of virtual something on computer.
But does that mean that you're opening something still or what? Just because it doesn't physically, well, it does physically open on the computer screen.
All right. But if the computer connected to the actual object, physical, maybe it can open to actual object too.
Okay, yes, I would agree with that. That's fine. All right, so not very great pictures here. So key and a mouse, let's move on. Write and underline. All right, so what's the main similarity here?
Yeah, right. Both are maybe kind of movement of for right, action for right.
Okay, yeah. And what's the difference then of just writing compared to looking at this at underlining?
Writing is usually writing picture, writing letters, characters, but underline just draw the line under the letters.
Okay. That's true. We actually draw a picture. We do use a different verb, but thank you. Good. Yes, good idea. So I'll just write that, draw a picture. Okay. Rafa, any ideas here?
We normally use underline to highlight topics and fragments of the test, just to emphasize or maybe to raise their importance over the following. And we normally write something but which is actually not written yet, so that is the main difference between them.
Yeah, I really like that. Underline is, you focus on something that's already written. But the other way, to write something means that you're normally going to write or you have written depending on the situation. So it's actually really nice. That's a good idea. Perfect. Let's go to another example here. With cut and read. Okay, so these are pretty different. Cut and read. What are the differences? Because that is going to be easier. So differences.
I usually to cut for changing shape of the object, but the reading we don't change, the object, the shape of the object.
Right. Okay, I like that. Rafa, any ideas?
In which perspective are you referring to cut? Is the same as the picture? Are you using the scissors and cutting something, or cutting, for instance, a fragment of the test, or cutting an idea, extracting an idea from the test, I think. So at least in this, if we use these statements in this perspective, I think that they are kind of similar in my point of view, because if you are reading, you are gathering something from the test, as well as you might be cutting something from it, I think.
I like that way of thinking because I thought of something very similar. For example, cut normally is you're removing something. Okay, if you're cutting, like it said, like here in the picture, they're cutting the paper. Maybe if you cut something from a book, you're reducing it or something like that. And then with reading, what you're doing is you're kind of adding more information to your brain, to your head, because you're learning something new. Okay? So if you look at these in a figurative way, you can find the differences, or at least find a common ground when it comes to comparing and contrasting these two. As far as finding similarities, I don't think there are any similarities, unless you want to use cut as you cut an excerpt out of a book or something like that. But as far as I'm concerned, that would be the only way. So very good. Okay, challenging today. So this very simple class today has turned into challenging. So now we have highlight and open. Well, let's look back. We have underline in this. So they're using the same picture, but a different verb. So we have underline and highlight. So what is the difference there? Let's start with that. All right, so we'll do underline versus highlight first. There's the difference. Do you have any idea? Underline and highlight.
Underline is just underline the sentence.
Okay, to draw a line under the word or something or phrase, yeah?
Highlight is, I think, I can draw the cover up the sentence. Usually bright color, like this.
Okay, yeah, like what we saw before. Hold on. Oops, there it was. A highlighter.
Right.
Here we're talking about the object, but to highlight is this. Okay, to highlight is that verb. All right. So good. So underline and highlight, that's fine. Other things. Rafa, would you like to add anything?
No, my thoughts are kind of similar. We normally highlight something when we normally draw on the whole characters, the whole statements. But when we are just underline something, we normally draw it under the test. I believe it's just the main difference is just the position on where we draw something.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Highlight, like we said, is you could draw over the word. So the whole word viral in this picture would be colored, I guess, on top of. It's when you put the color on top of it. And then with underline, as Ken said, you put it under. Okay. So this, for example, is highlight. In the picture, what they're actually doing is they're underlining. Okay, so that's the difference. So now looking at these two pictures with highlight and open, what can we find here as far as differences and similarities? Or nothing? Absolutely nothing.
I will stick with nothing in this case because.
Okay. Ken?
It's very difficult to find the similarity of these things.
Yeah, it is. Well, let me try. Okay, so for open and highlight, maybe what you're doing is when you physically open something, but then when you highlight something, you're opening your mind to focus on this word. Whoa! I did it. It's something like that. It could be. Or just complete opposites of open and highlight, just different verbs. To open something is to allow it to be free, and highlight is to make sure people see it. I don't think there's really much else. So let's go to this one. Draw and click. Similarities.
Both action requires hand
Good. That's what I was thinking. Anything else? Nothing else? In this case, they're using their right hand, but people can also do it with their left hand. Right?
Also, on computer writing, you need to click. If you writing a picture on a computer graphic, so
okay,
click to draw. I mean.
That's true. Okay, so you can do the same action just on a different media. So draw would be on paper and click would be on the computer. That's a really good similarity. I like that. I was going to ask, Ken, are you left-handed or right-handed?
Maybe both.
You're ambidextrous.
Yes, left-handed, but many items is used for the right hand person. So I use computer mouse, right hand. So.
But how do you write? With which hand do you write?
Writing picture is left hand, but writing letters and character is right hand.
Really? So you really are ambidextrous.
Because my elementary school teacher, forced me change to right hand writing for letters.
That's terrible.
Yeah, according to the current research, it's terrible. But when I was a kid, he still doesn't know that actually.
Wow.
So
and I thought this was going to be a simple answer.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's great. It's a new vocabulary word, ambidextrous. Wow.
I'm shocked. Usually now I'm writing on computer typing, so I don't write my hand actually. Yes.
Interesting. Okay, well, thank you for that information. And Rafa, what about you? Are you right or left-handed?
Unfortunately, I'm left-handed, and I've suffered a lot. Yes, because I've suffered a lot with this since my childhood, because there were no desks for left-handed people, and I had to sit and trying to write everything in a very abnormal way, and it was awful. So since I wish I were
right-handed,
but unfortunately I wasn't gifted with this.
Well, ability. I think that people with left hands is unique because you're outnumbered. I've written outnumbered. That basically means there are less people who are left-handed than there are right-handed. Okay. And so actually, when I was bored in high school in class, I used to take notes with my left hand because I'm right-handed. And so in order to practice, and so I actually got to a decent level of writing with my left hand. Now, I'm not perfect, obviously, but I did it because it was something different. It was something fun for me to do. I wouldn't mind being a left-handed person. I know it's more difficult when you go out to dinner and things like that too. So because you always, you're moving your left hand, the person next to you is moving their right hand, and you hit elbows and such. So interesting. So we have one of each, where I'm right-handed, Rafa's left, and Ken is both. So fantastic. That's a really great discovery. Cool. Well, moving on. All right. So we have save and look. All right. Any ideas here? We save what? What do we normally save?
Money, data.
Ooh. Information?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
People. Because save has a lot of different meaning.
Save has a lot of different meanings. Yes, that's correct. And well, look does too. Look depends on the preposition that you have. Look up, look down, look at, look for. Look down on, look up to. All right. So lots of different phrasal verbs with look. But look physically is just with your eyes. So, I mean, I don't know if there's any similarities really here unless you two find one, but in general, pretty different. Rafa, any comments about this?
About the similarities?
Yes, or differences. Save and look, yeah. Not much, right?
Not much. Of course, sometimes we just look something. If we're able to memorize it, or we're just saving it within our memories. But it depends on the context, I think.
It does. It does. I agree with that. For example, my idea, I was thinking that you could look up information on the computer and then save it in a file. So you kind of thought of the same way, but as a person's brain. And I was talking about the person's brain as a computer. So it's quite interesting. Same idea, different, but different. Cool. Moving on. Okay, so now we have type and close. I don't think we're going to find any differences or similarities here. But type. So we've spoken about typing before, because can you type with both hands? As we all do on the computer, or should at least. And this is different. Actually, this is something that in Spanish has kind of got me a little crazy. They don't have a verb for type. They just say writing on the computer.
Oh, really?
And I hate that. So my question is for Rafa. Is in Portuguese, do you have a verb that means to type or just write on the computer?
No, actually, we have a specific verb for typing.
You do?
Yes. Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to look it up actually and just double check, but I'm pretty sure hold on. Perfect. Well, we have that. And then close just means the opposite of open, right? Yeah, they don't have a verb. Escribir algo a máquina. Okay, sorry. No, so I was right about that. So close is the opposite of open. It's when you close something. And I don't think there's really much to do with typing close. So let's go on to this one. Now we get to, what is this called? Unscramble the verbs. All right, so what is the first one?
Open.
And Ken, how do you spell open?
O-P-E-N.
Thank you very much. What's the next one?
Highlighter.
Well, these are verbs. So highlight. Wait a second. These are verbs. Highlight. But you're right, because highlight, it has an E and an R in here. Okay, so it's actually incorrect. But how do you spell highlight?
H-I-G-H-L-I-G-H-T.
Thank you very much. And the last one, what do we have?
Type.
Okay, good. And Rafa, how do we spell type?
T-I-P-E.
Okay, perfect. So good, Rafa. I see that you put the word in Portuguese to type. That's interesting. Like I said, in Spanish, they have like to write on a computer or to write on a machine or something like that. They don't have an actual verb. Okay, perfect. Now, unscramble the following. Okay, so it says verbs, but that's actually not correct because this is not a verb. So what's in this first picture?
Pencil.
How do you spell pencil?
P-E-N-C-I-L.
Perfect. What's next?
Click.
Yeah, but there's an extra K in here.
Clicker.
How do you spell?
No, sorry.
How do you spell click?
CLICK.
That's it. Yeah, this is extra. This K is here by accident, I believe. And what about in this last picture? What are they doing?
Right.
And how do you spell right?
WRITE.
Perfect. All right, what's in the first picture?
A notebook.
A notebook. How do you spell it?
NOTEBOOK.
Perfect. Ooh, what's going on in the next picture?
Read.
How do you spell read?
READ.
READ. Very good. And in the last one? Rafa, do you want to answer this one?
Look.
Okay, and how do you spell look?
LOOK.
Perfect. Okay. So it says identify whether it is an object or a verb. All right, so I'm going to say the first word is close. What is it? An object or a verb, and why?
I think it's a verb. It's a verb.
Okay, and why do you say that?
Because I don't think closing is a noun, but the close is I close the door, or you always is used as a verb.
Yep, exactly. No, I agree with that. What about computer, Rafa? Is it an object or a verb?
I think it is an object, but
Yeah, no, it is. It is an object. The verb would be to compute.
To compute. Okay.
To compute something is to calculate, basically. All right, good. What about cut?
Verb.
Why?
Usually verb.
Usually a verb.
But as a compound noun, clear, cut, it can change to noun, but usually I cut something, paper or something. Verb.
What if I write the sentence, I have a cut on my arm?
No, both.
Now it's both. Okay. Very good. The next one is kind of it doesn't have anything to do with like school, but shave. Shave. What is this? An object or a verb?
It is a verb.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Yes. To shave. What does shave mean?
Maybe to using to cut your hair. I don't know, with a blade or something like that.
With a razor, yeah.
The razor,
to shave, exactly. However, in English, we can also say to have a shave. I don't have a shave because I don't have facial hair like men do. So I don't do this, but men can have a shave. To have a shave means that you're going to shave. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Have you heard of this before? No? No, don't worry. That's okay. Okay. So we have that shave. What about a pen? Object or verb?
Object.
Why?
I think no verb form for pen. I pen a paper sounds strange.
Right. No, you're correct. It is an object. The only thing I'm going to say, if it were pencil, would it be an object or a verb? Or both?
So Can I say a pencil on the paper?
No. I would say to pencil. I'm sorry, to pencil in.
In.
To pencil in. It's a phrasal verb.
What does that mean?
To schedule something tentatively. Oops, I spelled tentatively wrong. To schedule something tentatively. Tentatively. Why can't I speak today? Because I haven't said this word in a long time. It's like to do something temporarily. All right. So I'll say, hey, Ken, let's go get a coffee on Wednesday at 4. You're like, well, I'll pencil you in, but I'm not sure if I can go. I'll pencil you in. I'll reserve that time for you, but I'm not, like, that's why you're using a pencil, so you can erase it, just in case it doesn't work. Okay? So to pencil in is a new word for everybody. Great. And underline. Object or verb? Or both?
Verb.
I think it's both.
Both. Because an underline is, I'm going to underline. No, that's a verb. This is underline. If there was a word here, it would be underlined. And underline is the actual line. Under the word. Perfect. Moving on to this is our last slide for today. Keyboard, object, or verb?
Object.
Object. Yep, because if it's a keyboard, you would write or type on a keyboard. What about book?
It's both.
Both. How and why?
Because you can schedule something. You book a class. Maybe.
Yeah, or reserve would be the synonym. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Book a hotel. Okay, and book, as we saw before, the actual thing that we can read, novels or documentaries, like Ken said before. And then draw, verb or object. Why?
Because as a noun, drawing.
Exactly. That's it. What about keys? Object or verb?
Object.
Yeah, and we saw a key before. Let's find two. No. To key a car means that you've taken a key and you've drawn a line on someone's car. So it can be a verb. But that's not a very nice thing to do.
Keys is a plural, it cannot be a verb if the subject verb agreement sometimes change to keys, but so I thought keys.
No, you're right. But I found a sentence for you. She always keys her ex's car. So whenever she breaks up with her boyfriend, she keys his car.
Okay.
For example.
Sorry, I have a question. You mentioned you can key a car as if we take a key.
Yeah.
But isn't this is this formal language or is this slang?
It's just technical. I mean, if you talk to the police, well, they keyed my car, or she keyed my car, for example, basically means she took a key to her house or to her car and has drawn lines on your car or written something with the key. So she's removing the paint with the key. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It's something to research. Look it up. It's for crimes and things like that. It's not a positive thing. And if you key someone's car, you're ruining the paint job on their car. So I don't think this would be very common. But it's good to know. Instead of saying, hey, they drew on my car with their key, they keyed my car.
Also, in my dictionary, it also means type, to type.
To key in?
Yeah, key on maybe typing. key something into the computer.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
I see.
So there are different ways that we can use this. All right. Ken, did you understand the keyed my car situation?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, the kind of.
It's just scratch something.
Exactly. Just scratch someone's car with their key.
Scratch.
Yes. Using normally a key. That's what we say. I don't know why, but they keyed my car. I don't know. Anyway. And then last question here is piece of paper, object or verb?
It is an object.
It is an object. All right. So that is it. So I'm going to stop screen sharing with you. And what I'm going to do is just mention that we are going to be finishing right now. And our next class is going to be on Wednesday. It's about coping with stress at work. So if you're very stressed at work or you're stressed in life, we're going to try and help you find out how to do things. Okay, relax, organize your life so you're not so stressed. Okay? Perfect.
That's nice.
Questions? Yeah, it should be pretty helpful for some people. So, perfect. Well, then we are done for today. So I'm going to go get lunch as it's lunchtime in Spain. And I hope that you all have a great day. And hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.